One of the things that I wanted to talk about a little bit was about current winds. As we look at China, a marketplace that is very dynamic, a marketplace that has taken a lot of sorghum here recently, a marketplace that is impacting quite a bit, not only from a price standpoint, but also looking at it from an effect on availability of sorghum. The strengthening of marketplaces, of course, as we look at that just in a general sense, not only from China, but also from other areas. The acreage increase that has most recently happened, branding sorghum, which you've heard that multiple times. You saw a video at the beginning. One of the things that I believe firmly in, and we believe in as staff, is that we really have to change the dynamics of sorghum. We need to look at it from a different perspective. Sorghum, the smart choice, is a message that we're trying to convey. How sorghum can really work not only from a producer standpoint, but also looking at it from an industry and looking at it from an end user standpoint as well. As we look at China, China has had a huge impact on the marketplace. Again, there's a panel that's going to be talking to you. I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights there. As we look at it, it's had a large impact. There's roughly 110 million bushels. That number has changed. It's 120 million bushels. There was a purchase of right at 115,000 metric ton that was done last week. So that, in addition with the current numbers, have increased the total sorghum movement at, as far as from an export standpoint, commitment-wise, up to 135 million bushels. Of that, roughly about 120 million bushels is now slated to go into China. So again, having a really large impact. First sorghum moved in October of 2013. A group of individuals from the Checkoff were available and had some time to visit, not during that unload, but right prior to that. So really a good opportunity to learn more about that. Markets continue to strengthen, not only from a standpoint of looking at the impact from China, but also looking at other areas of use, whether that's ethanol, looking directly into the food industry, looking directly at the other export markets. You know, if we talk about 135 million bushels going out and 120 of that being represented by China, Mexico has generally received between 60 to 100 million bushels. We're short sorghum. We really today are short sorghum. We should be able to say that we can move 100 million more bushels into Mexico and really have a productive crop moving forward. As you look at those prices, Salina, Kansas, 20 cents over currently. That's currently over the corn price. Looking at the Texas Gulf, 30 cents over. Looking at Memphis at 5 cents over. Again, really strong bids, trying to attract more sorghum as it moves through the belt. Looking at acres, of course, we had continued to dwindle on acres. We're not sure if we hit that bottom point. We're hoping that we did. And you've seen a steady increase up to last year at 8.1 million acres. So we see that as being very effective. Sorghum, the smart choice, as we talked earlier, it's got to be a focus not only for the farmer, the producer, the end user, the consumer. It has to have that opportunity to be conveyed into the general consumer. The consumer needs to recognize and understand that sorghum does pose or does play an important role from a producer standpoint and on into the end user. As we look at crop improvement, we're going to continue to strengthen that opportunity of leveraging dollars. We're taking producer dollars, of course, utilizing those producer dollars, hopefully working with the private and public sector to find new opportunities to bring back to you as into the farm. That's really the necessity here. The necessity is utilizing those dollars in a way that will benefit you in the end. And we feel having that leveraging opportunity with both public and private is extremely important. Looking at new genetics, whether those are cold, drought, of course game-changing trade ideas, looking specifically whether those are tri-seed, stop by, talk to us about multi-seed, stop by and talk to us about other areas. Of course, there's a booth that's going to be out in the hall. We'd love as staff to talk more to you about these items, so please stop by. Herbicide, again, you're going to hear a little bit more about this. ALS technology that's being evaluated by private seed companies right now, really looking specifically at best management practices. That Again, you'll hear a lot more about that later in the presentation, but it is moving forward very quickly, and we feel that this is something that has to have an active producer component into it so that the technology is able to be utilized as long as possible as well. High value markets, we can't just stop at China. We can't say that China is the only market that we need to look to. Oftentimes there's often that discussion of what if China dries up? What if we can't export next year? Well, we need to find new locations. We need to find better marketplace opportunities. We need to start looking at regional opportunities that could exist. Again, looking into the food industry, looking into the packing peanuts or other items. There's a company in Missouri that's currently making furniture out of sorghum stalks. It's an excellent opportunity that's out there. So you're starting to see many more applications for sorghum, and that's what we're really trying to drive and look forward. As we talked, of course, the exports represent a large volume, up to 40%, so that's an area that we will continue to focus. We work very closely with the U.S. Grains Council. They've been wonderful partners in this. We've worked very well with them, and it seems that they continue to bring those opportunities to light, and hopefully those things will move forward. I know you'll have a person on the panel here in the very near future talking about that. Renewables, as we talked earlier as well, renewables, there's roughly about 120 million bushels that moves into the ethanol production area. That number needs to continue to increase. We know of several plants in California that could have utilized sorghum. Why not get more sorghum to California and find those marketplaces that could be open? Sweet sorghum, continuing to invest into the future, finding methods or ways of producing green chemicals or other technologies that could be of value or use to the producer in the future. Of course, one thing that's really important is having that opportunity to stand here, not only in front of you as producers, but stand in front of end users, in front of companies. That's a very dynamic thing that needs to occur. So Sorghum the Smart Choice will continue to be one of those battle calls. It'll continue to be a method of bringing noise into the industry. I believe heavily in it's our responsibility to make noise. Leadership sorghum, creating new leaders in the sorghum industry that can take that noise forward as well. Looking at Sorghum U and opportunities that exist to have educational seminars, educational opportunities for producers to where they can find out not only more about their checkoff, but also find out more about technologies and or items that may exist into the sorghum industry as a whole into the future. Of course, I know that I talked very quickly. I know that I want to try to get us back on schedule and move us forward. Please feel free to stop by again at the booth. There's quite a few staff members. Please feel free to talk to them, and we welcome your questions at that time. Thank you so much.